Hey, what's up everyone, Saintsfan back again with another GTA 5 video, and today we're talking about the top 5 cars that should get a custom retro version or variant in GTA Online. Kinda like how the LG recently, the LG became got the LG Retro custom version, and the Comet got the Comet Retro custom version. These are 5 cars that I think should get a custom version as well, and I feel like, even though this list is just my opinion, I feel like my list will appeal to like the majority of the car community and even just like regular people, because the cars I've chose are popular and I think a lot of people would like them. But if you differ, or if your opinion differs from mine, then definitely let me know in the comment section what cars you would like to see get a retro version. Now, before we actually hop into the list, I want to give a shout out to 2 cars that didn't make my list, but I still would like to see a Benny's version or a custom version. The first one, the Entity. Now this one, I don't know how you could make a retro version, but I want the Entity to be loved again. You know what I mean? I want the Entity to have some new customization. I want Rockstar to breathe new life into the Entity like they did with the Adder. So hopefully maybe sometime in the future we can have that happen. But the other one, the one that actually fits the theme in this video, the Coquette. The Coquette is a sports car that is, I would say, it's a fairly decent sports car in the game. I mean, it's not going to do anything in terms of racing and performance, but it's really good looking, and it was one of the most popular sports cars in GTA, like in the franchise of GTA. And if they did do some sort of custom variant of it, they have 2 options. I mean, one, they could just make it like a race car version, and I mean, here's a picture of that. It looks cool, don't get me wrong, but they could, if they wanted to keep it retro, go old school and give us the GTA 4 version, which I believe was based off of the C5 that came out like in the early 2000s. So those are my 2 runner-ups. But now, getting into the list. These aren't really in a particular order, but we'll just start from the last one I did, the Gauntlet. Now, in GTA 5, the Gauntlet is based off of the Dodge Challenger. And in real life, that's actually one of my favorite cars, so this is why it makes my list. But I still think it would look really cool with a custom version. Now, they do have 2 options here, and honestly, both options would be fine for me. If they were to do a retro version like we're going to be talking about with the other 4 cars, they could just pick, you know, some sort of vintage Challenger from the 70s or something, and that would be awesome. The only downside is that, at least here are some pictures. By the way, all these cars, I'll have pictures and stuff on the screen to give you an idea of what they could look like, or what they do look like in real life and what they could look like in GTA. But the only downside to a vintage Challenger is that it looks really similar to a lot of the other sort of old school sports and muscle cars that we already have in the game. And another thing, I don't know how popular a vintage Challenger would actually be with the casual players of GTA. On the flip side, though, if they, like the Coquette, did sort of a modern Hellcat style version with like a Liberty Walk kit of the Gauntlet, that would be awesome. Again, that doesn't really fit the retro theme, but I'm fine with either one. Although, I mean, look at these pictures. This is from a mod, and these are just amazing. Like, imagine if the Gauntlet transformed into this in GTA Online. I would buy that, and I would spend a lot of money for it. But that is number 5. Number 4, sort of keeping it in that area, the Vapid Dominator. Now, this would work so perfectly, and this might be one of the favorites of this list for most people. So, the Vapid Dominator, since it is roughly based off of the Ford Mustang, what if they went back in time and gave us the 1967 Shelby Mustang GT500? I mean, look how sexy this car looks. And real quick, before someone leaves a comment section that says, oh, would it make sense going from a Dominator to the Shelby Mustang? But if you look at it, how does the LG go from the LG Retro Custom, the cars that those are based off of? And we're not really taking too much logic into this, because Rockstar don't take much logic into anything they do. So as long as it's, made by the same people and it's roughly the same car, I feel like it doesn't matter what they actually look like. But the Shelby Mustang from 1967, that's like one of the classics, you know what I mean? And going through some of the pictures, you can get an idea of what some of the customization could look like. You could have it all souped up to make it look modern, or if you wanted to, you could have it classic like, it should be. So I just think going from the Dominator to the Shelby Mustang would be amazing. And again, kind of like the Gauntlet the Dominator isn't a car that is used very frequently now, so having or giving people a reason to buy it, giving people a reason then to upgrade it would breathe some life back into that car. Number 3, we have the Karen Kuruma Retro Custom. Now, I would like to see a Karen Kuruma custom version just like as is, but if they did want to make it a retro custom version, since the car is roughly based off of the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo, they could actually go back to the Evo 8, which I believe came out in like 2003. And you can see in these pictures, it's got a similar body, because obviously it's based off of the same car, it's just a little bit older. And since that is over 10 years ago, I think that would classify it as a retro version. And from there, they could add all the liveries, they could add all the customization. And from there, I guess it would become either a rally car or like some sort of souped up drift car. You guys know I'm not a huge car guy, so I don't know all the correct terminology and all that. But having the Karen Kuruma get a retro version would fix or would give people to actually buy the regular version and not the armored version. Because I don't know many people that do have the regular version. And I like the regular version. It's just, it's kind of lacking in the customization I would want. So having a retro version that is sort of similar to it, I think would fix those problems. And again, the Evo, the Lancer Evo is such like a classic car, it's a popular car, so that's another reason why I think many people would enjoy it. Then getting into number 2, we have the Ubermacht Sentinel. Now there's a few ways they could go about making this a retro version. So if you don't know, Ubermacht is roughly based off of BMW, and the Sentinel is based off of one of the newer BMW models. So if they wanted to make a retro version, there's like 3 ways they could go about doing this. If they wanted to just keep it like in GTA, they could give us the version from GTA 4, and that's what this is right here. And there's also an XS version, which I guess has more customization. But the Ubermacht Sentinel from GTA 4 is a little bit different than the one we have from GTA 5. Obviously, it's a little bit older. Now, I believe the one from GTA 4 is actually based off of the E46 series, but if they wanted to go even further back in time and give us even more of a retro version, 2 that could work. If they want to keep it sort of like a sports car still, they could go with the E36 series, which I think was in the late 90s, and that's what this is right here. It looks really cool. I mean, it definitely has that classic BMW vibe, but if they wanted to go even further, they could give us the E30, which almost sort of looks or reminds me of a Futo a little bit, but it is, you could see, a little bit less of a sports car in terms of looks. I mean, that's obviously what sports cars looked like back in whenever it came out, I think the early 90s. But those are 3 options that they could give us for a retro version of the Ubermacht Sentinel, the E30, the E36, or the E46 from GTA 4. Any of them I'm fine with. I want to see some more BMWs. And then coming in at number 1, the last car. This is the one I think that most people want to see, just because we haven't had one in GTA for quite some time now. But I want the Jester to get a retro version. Now, what I'm about to say, I'm sure might not make too much sense, because the Jester in the game now, I think, is based off of like a Honda or an Acura, whereas the car I want it to become is the Supra, which is Toyota. They're both Japanese-style cars, but they're different makers, so it wouldn't make too much sense, I guess, in terms of that. But look, the reason I think it would work is because back in GTA San Andreas, the Jester was actually based off of the Supra. And this is what it looks like. You can see in these pictures, it's almost identical to the Supra in real life. So having the Jester get a retro version would be a nice throwback to San Andreas, where that version of the Jester was a different car, was the Supra. And the Supra, kind of like the R34, or I guess the R33 or 32, whatever the one we got in GTA Online as the LG Retro Custom, is one of the most popular cars in the car community, I guess. And in my mind, it just makes so much sense, since people want that car, to introduce it as a retro version for the Jester, which is what the name of the Supra was back in the day in GTA. And again, like I said at the beginning of this video, some of the cars might not make too much sense, but as long as they're similar, and both of these Jesters, both of the old one and the new one, are both Japanese style cars, so I don't think it's too far out of the realm of possibilities that this happens. But that is my list. Let me know in the comment section what your list would be, if it does differ from mine, I guess. The 2 or 3 that I think I would absolutely love would be, for sure, the 1967 Shelby Mustang. That's like such a classic car. And then the Supra and the BMW. I think I would really like to see those cars sort of in addition to the LG, or to rival the LG Retro and the Comet Retro. But that is it with the video. Thank you all for watching. But as always, please drop the video a like, subscribe for more awesome GTA content, and I will see you guys in the next one.